See if we can't find it. Shouldn't be too far away. There it is. So the stream's up, the chat's up, and the audio is working as it should. So, hello everyone, and welcome to what hopefully will be the race here for the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka Circuit. Back in part one, we had a qualifying session, and then the game decided to break down right after qualifying, so we had to do a lobby reset. But everything should be good. Now, drivers have to make sure that they start, well, for the top 10 anyway, they start on the tyres that they qualified on. I don't know whether that rule applies to the drivers outside the top 10, though I imagine a lot of them will just start on the mediums anyway. Pretty much every one of them did, except for Zach, I think, who started from 13th place. But it would mean that everyone in the top 9 will be starting on the softs, then Jack's P10 on fresh mediums. So, yeah. Hopefully this won't break down. It doesn't apply for the drivers outside the top 10. Thank you very much for that, Alex. There we go. So only the drivers inside the top 10. But again, I imagine pretty much all of them will start on the mediums anyway. Right, we're all set to go. I was a bit nervous there, I didn't hear any audio, but no, there's still engine audio, that's good. So, let's have a look. Rightio, so yeah, everything's fine. Top 9 starting on softs, Jack's qualified on the mediums in P10. And everyone outside the top 10 starting on mediums, so Zach in P13 changed his mind, instead of starting on the softs, he's starting on the medium tyre. Everyone else starting on the mediums as well, outside the top 10. There's one driver who's missing, and it's one of the Haas cars. I think it's 169, I think, is missing. Spilly has joined us. Oh, sorry, no, excuse me. No, who has joined us? Oh, no one. For some reason, I thought the Haas cars were here. No, it was Minardi who joined us late, that's all. He didn't think. And that everything should be fine now. So, just to run through the order again. Crichton on pole position, followed by Ford, Spicy, Izzat, Spilly. Then Plebs in P6, Bags in 7th, Swaggy in 8th, Wogboy in P9. Then Jax rounds out the top 10. James P11, Scotty P12, GeForce Zach in P13, then Will P14, Macedonian in 15th, Blocky Rex in 16th, Leo in 17th. Then Minardi Burger, who just went off the road there at Spoon, will start from the back of the field in 20th. Right, we probably don't need the tyre graphic. We know who's starting on what. Probably bring up the track map. That'd be nice and helpful. And we'll get ready to start this 27 lap race here at Suzuka. Now Crichton, I think, will line up on the racing line. Yep. So theoretically he should get the traction off the start, seeing as this side of the road is more rubbered down compared to the inside. But if Ford can convert a good start, he has the inside line into turn 1. So he might be able to take the lead off the start. But here we go in Suzuka. We have 5 red lights. And it's lights out. And away we go. Isaac Hirsch converts well from 4th place. Trying to look down the inside there. 40 into turn 1. Unable to do so. Through they go, turns 1 and 2. The midfield getting through relatively okay. A bit of contact there between the Williams and Alfa Romeo. Through the S's they go. Jack's trying to get by Swaggy here through the S's. He's a bit stuck, can't find a way by. But a fairly controlled start here. Oh, and that's Berger who's lost it at turn 6. He's lost a whole heap of time. Through the Degner curves, come the midfield. Everybody's still behaving themselves, good to see. Up and towards the hairpin we come. We'll change in position here between Jax and Wogboy, not quite. Jax keeps his P9. Wogboy unable to complete the pass. A very nice controlled start. Crichton out in front, leading the way. The leaders make their way through 130R. Then into the chicane. Get through there pretty nicely. Down the hill. And there's the yellow flag. It's Wogboy. He has spun out. Oh, careful. But he's down in second last place as G-Force Zach comes into the pits to get a front wing change. Damage on the Mercedes-Benz. He'll get going soon. Leaders making their way through the high-speed S section at the beginning of the course. Everyone being incredibly mindful of the curbs while going through that section. Coming underneath the overpass towards the hairpin. Spicy is close, not quite close enough to try and make a move. That pretty much goes for everybody at the moment. But this sort of massive trains forming. Not a lot of battling in between. Maybe when DRS is enabled, that will spice things up a little bit. I'm fairly happy to report no major drama. No one's out of the race yet. Had a few drivers lose control of their cars, such as Wogboy and Berger. And obviously Zach got damaged at some point, but everything's pretty nice at the moment. There's the useless camera angle that provides nothing. That camera angle that sits right in front of the driver, looking back at the driver. Completely useless, because it shows no racing. Wouldn't be too bad if it was facing forward towards the other cars. But, oh well. It is what it is. Is that a 3-second time penalty? That's pretty harsh from the game. But obviously he must have put all 4 wheels over the white line. He definitely did there. That's worthy of a warning. But at turn 7 of all places, he got a warning. Running wide at Dunlop. That's fairly brutal. But it is what it is. It's just something you have to try and negotiate in this game. Is the brutal style of the penalties. As soon as you put all 4 wheels over, it's almost a guaranteed warning. Not all the time though. Sometimes you can get away with it. Especially if you spend a fair amount of time off the racetrack. Then you can try and get away with it. A lot of battling here. Bags is under a bit of pressure here from Jax, who's on the medium tyre. Trying to find a way by. He'll have DRS on the Williams. Williams does not have DRS. This should be a fairly simple move. And it is. Down the inside. Way he goes into P7. There we are. But he's got a fair old gap to the car in front. Almost 2 seconds between Jax and Spilly. Needs to get his head down and close the gap. Look at these fellas. All tightly bunched up, battling for position. Leo and Macedonian swap places there. Bags a 3-second time penalty. Oh dear. Around the hairpin we come. down and around 200R. And towards Spoon Curve. It's on the brakes. Everybody files through pretty nicely. There's not going to be a lot of opportunity through this sector to try and pass, but there's plenty of opportunities to make a mistake through there. The drivers have to be very mindful. Swaggy and Bags exchange places. Swaggy moves up into P8. Down through turn 18. Ford's lost a fair amount of ground to Crichton. Izzat's right on the back of the Aston Martin. Heading down the pit straight towards turn 1. Jack sets fastest lap with a 31.3. Izzat isn't able to find a way past. The top 3 close up quite a bit as they go through turn 2. Now through the S's they come. Ford, he'll be eating all the dirty air coming off the Mercedes. Minardi made a mistake at Spoon. Through turn 6 they go. Then up the hill around turn 7, Dunlop curve. Nice and tidy through there. The 2 McLarens are spicy and Plebs in pursuit of the top 3. Ready to capitalise on any mistake. There's Spilly and Jax is not too far behind now. He's closed the gap to under a second between him and the McLaren, and that's Minardi bringing out yellow flags. That's at the exit of 130R. And getting a 3-second time penalty in the process, dear oh dear. Exiting Spoon, down the hill, towards the crossover point. As Swaggy is backwards in the wall. Trying to get the car back onto the black stuff. There's Wogboy. Ooh, thank goodness he stayed ghosted. He has to be very careful now. His tyres won't be in great condition, and I think he's got front wing damage as well. Maybe? No, it doesn't look like it. Tight racing here between the top 3. Yellow flags being displayed as Swagger gets a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. Must have done that at the chicane. He's also got another 3-second time penalty. That onto that, and he's retired immediately. 6 laps into a 27 lap race. Through the Degner curves. Underneath the crossover point. Towards the tight hairpin. None of these guys really in a position to battle just yet. All too evenly matched, and Crichton's got just enough to keep the lead as, well, there you go, neither Alfa Romeo will score points as there's a fair old gap here. Yellow flags being displayed. Why are the 2 Alfa Romeo dots? Is that 2 dots or just a 1? Can't quite tell. You can see the Alfa Romeo dot stationary there. I'm guessing Berger went into the wall. Hang on. This will be a good view. There he is there. Gone head on into the wall at the hairpin. So neither Alpha will score points. Through turn 1 and into turn 2, Crichton's still hanging on. James overtaking Bags down the pit straight into turn 1. Through turn 7. See, this is a problem with tightly packed racing such as this. You don't genuinely know where to look. A piece of drama could happen here in this group, or could happen back in this group here, led by James. Bags doing his best to hang on. He's still on the soft tyre. 6-lap old softs. Soft tyre does wear out quite quickly around here. It's quite difficult to keep them within a certain temperature range. But running wide there, losing a bit more time. Scotty steadily closing in. Here's your leaders. Coming up and around the chicane now. Not pitting just yet. Someone is though, and says that. Someone else has done it as well. It's spilling. Set of mediums going onto his car. Same as spilling. Where they go out of the pits. Where will they filter out? They'll filter out behind Blocky. So they should be in relatively clear air, which should allow them to put the hammer down and try and pass a few drivers. But they have to make sure they don't make any mistakes on their outlap. Up and around the hairpin they come. Around 200R. Yeah. Tad bit odd seeing Blocky in here, but Blocky proved in the test that he was quite quick. The pre-season test that they did around Spa, if I remember. Did quite well. So he's been chucked in the top tier league in Race Spec. He hasn't been towards the front, but he's kept fighting. He hasn't just given up. Coming around 130R, this nice group of cars. The leaders are in. So Crichton, Ford and Spicy, all of them are putting on the medium tyre. Plebs had to stay out to avoid a double stack. So where is that in Spilly? Here they come. Should pass them easily. Look at that. That is the undercut at Suzuka, right there. Oh, but Izat blows it at turn 1. That's probably a warning. Oh, thank goodness that was nothing more than just running wide. Could have lost control and ended up into the barrier. Minardi has left the session. Towards the Degna curves. Not a bad camera shot there. Bags and Scotty battling for position. That's at the exit of the hairpin. What are these two fellas up to? Through 200R. Scotty gets the position. Here comes Leo. This is Liddell's teammate. I'm sure he would like to get by as soon as possible. Oh, Bags just missing the apex there. They're side by side. Heading towards 130R. Bags will just let him go. There we are. Heading towards the chicane. The two Williams cars behave into the chicane. Had half a thought that Bags might send it back down the inside. But no, you stay behind. Oh good, a nice little pit lane glitch there. That's great, that's still in the game. And Bags coming into the pits. Put on the medium time. Spilly setting fastest lap, showing good speed on the fresh tyres. Again, another pit lane glitch, that's great. Oh, that is tight. What are you two up to? Spicy, Spilly, side by side, through turn 3. Into turn 4, they're still side by side. Into turn 5. Spilly putting up a hell of a fight. And Spicy hangs on. Haha, what a scrap. Two drivers came side by side at pit exit. And they were side by side through pretty much the whole first sector. Fantastic. Through the hairpin. Still see we have this big group of cars. Izak, Crichton, Ford. Blocky's in there as well on 9-lap-old mediums. And Izak's getting set to try and pass Macedonian for P6. Out in front now is Jax. He's got a 6.9 second lead over James. With that clear air, he's hoping to put the hammer down. Try and build up as big a gap he can. over Isaac Kush. And chuck on the soft tyre and absolutely send it at the end of the race. Leo and Scotty exchanging positions there. Leo into P3. Here comes Izzat. Down the inside at turn 1, a simple move. Into P6 he goes. Now Crichton has to try and find a way by. This won't be easy either, especially through this first sector. Meanwhile, Izzat is driving away. Crichton knows he needs to get by as soon as possible. Through the first Egner curve, can't pass here. Into the second, can't pass here either. But he might be able to have a crack at the hairpin. He's close. Heading into Kobayashi corner, he looks and dives down the inside. Macedonia gives him room, or a bit of a bump there, I could hear that. And Ford gets by as well into P8. The gap now 1.4 seconds between Izzat and Crichton. So a little bit of work to do for the Mercedes driver to close the gap. Now Macedonian's got Spicy and Spilly behind. Closing the gap. There's Plevs. Through 130R. Towards the chicane. Ford right on the back of Crichton here. Can he find a way by? Crichton gets a half-decent run through the final corner. I don't think he'll be able to. Oh, I might be wrong here. Here comes Ford. Down the inside. Gets him easily. Wow. Such is the power of DRS, I suppose. I also noticed as well that Crichton was low on battery because of the flashing light on the back of the car. So perhaps Crichton just let him by so Ford can get on with it. Perhaps drag the Mercedes along. Heading towards the Degner curves. Spicy trying to get by. Again, like with Crichton, you can't really pass here, but you can at the hairpin. Here we go. Oh, Macedonian half defends. Oh, a whole heap of contact through the hairpin. Oh, that was rough stuff between these two. Macedonian more or less put it right in the middle of the road. Oh, and there we go. A bit more contact at corner entry. That wasn't particularly nice now, was it? And Spicer gets a 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings. Here comes Plebs. Looking the long way. Oh, and he's forced off a little bit. Oh, and he half spins. Oh, and he hits Spilly. He completely spins. So you can see there, Plebs was forced a little bit off at the entry to the chicane. Got onto the grass. Car completely lost control. Basically, Plebs was a passenger at that point. He really couldn't do much. He's now down in 13th. Got a fair bit of work to do, but I think fortunately he doesn't have any damage. Car looks somewhat competitive, somewhat functional still. Spilly. How does he look to try and get by Macedonian here? Heading up and towards the hairpin. Ooh, I can't pass here. Won't go for it just yet. Oh, but Macedonian makes a mess of the exit. Spilly draws alongside. Has to go around the long way though. Uses a fair bit of battery there. Oh, he had to lift off the throttle a little bit. You can see Macedonian running low on battery with the flashing light. Spilly sitting in the slipstream, not using any of the battery just yet. He's going to try to overtake here, and he will do so successfully at 130R. Spilly into P10. Spilly drives away from the AlphaTauri. Fresher tyres means better traction out of the corners. So Macedonia can't really counter-attack to try and take the position back. Ford has closed the gap between himself and Kush. It's now half a second between the two. But what a great bit of strategy by Izzat. Undercut work to perfection. He's got the provisional lead. Of course, we still have a few drivers out in front that haven't stopped yet. This man being one of them, Will in P5. 13 lap old mediums. When's the pit window, I wonder? Probably lap 18 or so, I'd say. Maybe lap 17. Drivers trying to get the undercut. It's just an educated guess. We'll just have to wait and see. Leo closing in onto the back of James. Half a second separating the two. If Leo can get the run through the chicane, he might be able to pass James. Down the back straight towards turn one. Here we go. Back straight down the pit straight. And Leo goes into second place. A lot of these guys should have fresh sets. We had a lobby reset, remember, Alex? So everybody should have fresh sets of tyres available to them. So because remember, this game is great. And after quali, the lobby just decided to break down. So you had to do a whole reset. Izzo on the back of Will. Now going to try and find a way by. Yeah. Here comes Izzat. Not close enough. Not close enough. And the longer Izzat stays behind Will, the closer Ford gets. So Izzat would really like to put a car in between himself and the Aston Martin. I think any driver would naturally think that. And he's right on the back of the Alpine here. Does have a little bit of battery. You can see on the steering wheel there, a little bit of yellow bar. He's going to use a little bit just before 130R. There's Scotty just in front in P4. Hello, Scotty. And here comes Izzat around the outside. This will give him the inside line for turn 17. Well, oh, he understeers wide. Oh, and oh my goodness. He spins out of control. Drops down to 9th place. I couldn't believe how much understeer he had at the exit of the chicane there. Just completely went off the road. Oh, and Izzat has dropped behind Ford. Has he done that? Must have made a mistake, surely. Interesting. Okay, so Ford's in front. Now he has to make his way by the AlphaTauri of Scotty. Closing in. Should be getting close to the pit window too. Scotty leaves the door open. It's a nice wide line. Doesn't want to interfere too much. Through he goes into P4. Scotty dropping back to P5. Now Ford needs to take this opportunity to try and pull away from the two behind. Here comes Izzat. Heading towards 130R. Gap is 0.3 of a second. Into the chicane we go. Oh, Crichton goes deep under brakes. Goes very deep under brakes there. Almost hitting the back of the Red Bull. DRS open for Izzat. Closing the gap now on Scotty. Doesn't put too much of a fight. Actually backs out. Oh, and Crichton almost hits him. He loses control. And somehow Crichton keeps it out of the barrier. And Will is into the pits to put on fresh, soft tyres. He's the first of the medium runners to pit. But with what happened at turn 1, Crichton's lost a whole heap of time. Oh, and that's Aston Martin around. It's Spilly. Oh, careful. Gets it onto the black stuff. Here comes Bags. He'll pass him. Oh, gee whiz, that's tight. So Spilly's now lost a whole heap of ground with that mistake. So easy to do as well as he's... Good catch. That's a classic catch right there, but dearie me. Almost ended your race there. Completely sideways at the first Egner. Crichton closing in. As we saw on the lap before, he goes quite deep under brakes here. Look how much it closes up. Gee whiz. James into the pits. Scotty doesn't go in just yet. Staying out another lap. Using whatever battery he's got left. Crichton closes in. Looks to the inside. Makes the pass. Into P5 he goes. He's got a 1.5 second gap to close up to Isaac Kush in P4. This battle here is a battle for the provisional lead. Macedonian Blocky pitting for fresh soft tyres as well in P12 and P13. Oh, cutting a lot there, is that? Gee whiz. Suppose you have to around here. Especially at the Degners. Gap is 0.6 of a second between Ford and Izzat. Gap is close to 1.1 seconds between Izzat and Crichton. So the Mercedes is putting the hammer down. Spicy isn't too far behind this as well in P7. He's just 6.5 tenths behind Scotty. So collectively he's about 1.8 seconds behind Crichton. So if those three really start to battle it out, Spicy might be able to get involved. He's low on battery though. I saw that flashing light. Yeah, he's got 10% or so as of right now. Cutting a lot there. Scotty stays out another lap. So does Leo and Jax. Here comes Izzat. He's made the move. Into P3 he goes. Oh, and spinning! Oh, they spin! Izzat has been spun out. Ford is overtaken by Crichton because he has wing damage. Oh my goodness. And here comes Spicy to take what is provisional P2. Oh, and Izzat's been disqualified. Oh my goodness me. They were set to battle it out for the podium places. And Izzat, his race is over. And Ford, well, his race isn't much better. Completely destroyed front wing. You can see him understeering like crazy. So he'll have to come in and put on soft tyres. Oh dear. That's unleashed Crichton. Given a gift, though it's not quite over yet. With Spicy only 1.6 seconds behind. He might be able to close the gap, but he does have a penalty next to his name. Jax into the pits. He's one other factor that may play a part. He's got a 14-second margin over Crichton. He's putting on soft tyres. Well, where will he come out relative? I love the pit lane glitch. It's great. There goes Crichton. Wow, that gap is going to be a lot closer than what I thought it was going to be. This is going to be interesting. 3.5 seconds. I thought that gap would be a bit bigger than that. To Jack's credit, that is a pretty good stint on the mediums. He probably will play a factor in this for sure. James. Up and behind Pleasant. Leo in P4 now. How about that? Really does change the complexion of everything with Izzat and Ford basically out of contention now. Well, Izzat definitely out of contention. James right on the back of Plebs, giving the McLaren a big hurry up here. Nice and steady. James makes his way out of Spoon, sitting right in the slipstream, closing the gap. Not using any battery, he doesn't need to. Through 130R, he's looking, and he goes for it down the inside. Simple but clean move there from James. He's into P5. Gap has shrunk to 2.2 seconds between Spicy and Jax. Those tyres should be up to temperature now, up to pressure. Going to be putting the hammer down, trying to close that gap. But he has to be mindful towards the end of the race. Those tyres won't feel particularly great. Soft tyres do wear out quite a bit around here. There's also a battle going on for P10 between Wogboy and Will. Gap is half a second between those two. Will on fresh, soft tyres as well, compared to Wogboy on 12-lap-old hards. Logic dictates that the advantage is in Will's corner. Spilly has closed onto the back of Plebs as well. Gap is 0.6 of a second between those two. Jax has closed in about 0.8 or so over the course of this lap, showing the raw pace of the soft tyre. He's almost within a second. I don't think he'll get DRS. I'm pretty sure he won't. Down the pit straight, the gap is under a second. And yeah, as you can see, no DRS just yet. But we've got 6 laps left. A lot of racing to get through. A lot of things can happen, and Leo has set fastest lap. Great lap from him at 29.6. Through the S's. Up and around Dunlop Curve. Jax closes in that little bit more. Spilly is now properly on the back of Plebs as well. We'll have a look at that in just a moment as Ford sets fastest lap with a 29.474. Not close enough, Jax, not quite just yet. Here's the battle for P6. Bags is just behind this as well in P8, but he has a penalty next to his name. Through the hairpin we go, locking up Plebs. Gap is under half a second between the two. Gap is now 0.6 of a second. Now half a second. Now 0.4 of a second. 0.3 of a second, entering the chicane. Around the final corner they come. It should be a fairly simple move. And it is. Into second place. That's the gap. 2.3 seconds between Crichton and Jax. That will dictate this race. Top 3 places are basically set. The gap between Spicy and Leo, 9.2 seconds. So long as Spicy doesn't do anything silly, or Jax or Crichton for that matter, the podium should be involving those 3 drivers. Pleb still hanging on to P6, only just. Spilly doing all he can to try and pass. If he can get the run through the Degnan curves, he might be able to have a go at the hairpin. And then get a bad run. He's got a bit of battery life as well to play around with, locking up into the hairpin. Compare that to Plebs. He's got a little bit of battery life as well, not as much as Spilly, but enough probably to try and defend his position. Gap is now 1.6 seconds between the top 2. The gap is closing. Here comes Spilly sitting in the slipstream, closing in. He pulls out of it, looking around the outside. Not quite Fernando Alonso, but pretty close. I'll give him credit. I think Pledge just fully cooperated there, just backed out of it. Let Spilly go. Still doing a move around the outside of 130R. Feels pretty good. And he's into P6. Oh, and here comes Pledge looking down the inside. Can't really look down the inside there at turn 1. Corner's just a little bit too quick. Stays in P7 for now. .2 seconds, the gap between the top two. And it's steadily shrinking. Ford overtakes Blocky for P13. Heading up and towards Spoon. Gap is less than a second. Now it's just over a second. This is going to be a very interesting tussle. Jax has the tyre advantage. He's on the softer compound and they're fresher. Crichton has got track position. Very, very important here at Suzuka, as the track is so difficult to pass, as Bags gets a 3-second time penalty. We have got 3 laps to sort this out. 3 laps, about 17.4 kilometers worth of racing. And it's half a second separating the top two. Through the S's they come. Jax will be eating all the dirty air coming off the Mercedes. That's another disadvantage that Jax has to face with. Heading towards Degner. Just over 6/10. Increases to 7. Both drivers pushing hard. Around the hairpin. There's Spicy. You could hear his McLaren just in the background, just chilling in P3, enjoying life. And that is Macedonian, I think, making a mistake. You can see his name plummet down. He joins the racetrack again. Oh dear. He's a long way behind and he's sideways again and spins the car. Oh dear. Go back to this, shall we? Heading through the chicane. Jax will have DRS. The gap at half a second or so. What can Crichton do? Here comes Jax. Crichton goes right down the inside of the circuit. Jax uses DRS. Doesn't use any overtake though. Crichton keeps the lead for now. Through turn 2. Heading up through the S's. The gap 2.5 tenths, and this will increase a little bit due to Jax eating up all that dirty air coming off the Mercedes. And those soft tyres just feeling that little bit worse every turn, every lap. Soft tyre just losing its edge. Heading up and around the hairpin. Ford overtakes Blocky for P13. Tell you what, we could probably get rid of the tyre graphic now. Don't need it. At the end of the race. Don't need that tyre graphic. And that is Wogboy off the racetrack at turn 7. He's dropped a place. He's now behind Will. But he's still running. Gap is a little over 4/10. Lovely aerial shot here. Thank you, Codemasters. This is a good camera shot for this scenario. We got one more lap to sort this out. The final 5.8 kilometers of this race is about to begin. And it's a two-way fight between Crichton and Jax once again. These two came together at Monza in quite spectacular style. Jax rather simply overtakes him with the power of DRS. Crichton tries to fight back, unable to do so at turn 2. Can Jax pull away here? Through the S's they go. Crichton desperately keeping up with the Mercedes through turn 5. Then turn 6. Then up and around turn 7. Dunlop curve. Gap is increased to 4/10. Can Crichton do anything? Through the Degner curves, you saw the flashing light on the back of Crichton's car. He's low on battery. Round turn 10, into the hairpin of 11. Not close enough to send. Stays behind for now. Gap increases to half a second. Gap increases a little bit more to 6/10. Think it might be game over for Crichton, unless Jax makes a mistake. Exiting Spoon. Gap still hovering at around 6/10 as they head towards 130R for the final time. Jax has only got 3 more corners to negotiate, and he can claim the win here at Japan. Gets through the chicane. Warning 3, around the final corner. He'll take a superb victory here at Suzuka. He wins the Japanese Grand Prix. Crichton will take 2nd. Spilly, I believe, will take 3rd. With his penalties, I think he'll stay in 3rd. He does, as Leo crashes in rather spectacular style at the line. Spilly will take P5, James P6. Plevs in 7th place, followed by Bags, who will drop down the order a little bit due to penalties. Scotty will take that P8 away from the Williams. Will comes around the final corner to cross the line in P10. He'll jump down as well. Wogboy will take that 10th place. Will Ford jump up a position? No, he misses out by a little over a 10th and a half. Blocky P13. Then we'll have to wait on GeForce Zach and Macedonian. With only 15 finishes, it means everybody will score points here at Suzuka. There we are. Zach crossing the line. Macedonian, our final finisher, in 15th place. Well, there we are. I'll get to that in a little bit, Alcatraz. I'll have to do some quick math. But first, the podium celebrations. Victory for Jax here at Suzuka. He'd be very, very pleased with his performance. Crichton, 2nd place, and I believe this is Spicer's first podium of the season. So he'll be happy with that, I'm sure. But there we go, from P10 to 1st place. There we are, making the alternate strategy work. Granted, it was fairly close between the 2 strats, only 1.5 seconds at the end. But Jack's making it work. So congrats to the Ferrari driver. Crichton 2nd, Spilly, well done for getting 3rd place, mate. I believe that's your first podium. I'll have to ask him in the podium interviews. Leo in 4th, Spilly in 5th, James in 6th, Plebs in 7th, Scotty in 8th, Bags in 9th, Wogboy rounds out the top 10, followed by Will, Ford, Blocky, Zach, Macedonian is our final finisher. Retirees Isaac Kush, Swaggy and Minardi Burger. There we are. Not a bad race there at the end. Yeah, not a bad performance to go from P10 to P1, that's for sure. But that's what happens when you make the alternate strategy work and you don't get into trouble as well. Just have a clean race, make little mistakes. Very few mistakes. And he ended up taking the win. Played the final few laps pretty well as well. Jax did. My cat is meowing in the background. He wants attention, so I better get through these interviews pretty quick, shouldn't I? I'll be back in just a moment. I'll invite everybody in and we can get to interviews. There we go. Hopefully everybody will join nice and quickly. Can have a nice little chat about what happened during that race. Yeah, certainly a very entertaining race towards the end, with the strategies getting close like that on track. Hello, Crichton.
How are you?
Not too bad. Spicy. Hello.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Spicy.
Haven't been here in a long time.
Just want to double check as well, fellas. Jax, you've joined as well. Hello, Jax.
Hello.
Just want to double check with all three of you that you have your party audio sharing to always allow. Otherwise, we won't hear you in the stream. And I think Jax and Crichton, you'll be alright. It's just use Philly.
Yeah.
Maybe a question mark.
Philly.
Sorry, mate. He's been here too long. Mate, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's been here.
I think everyone gets confused with Philly and Spicy.
It's so close together, man. Please give me a break. I'm sorry. I do apologise. Alright, with all three of you here, first of all, thank you for joining me. We'll start off from P3. We'll make our way up. So we'll start with you, Spicy. Congrats with the P3 finish. I'm pretty certain this is your first podium this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah, I believe it is. The race was... Honestly, it's probably the one race I put in a bit more practice than normal, and the results seemed to work, and obviously a bit of bad luck came to Bailey when he really had that race probably in the bag with the gap that he had in front of Zach before Jax ended up coming through the field. But I knew with my 3-second time penalty that there was no point fighting Jax. I had to manage my gap back to Leo.
Fair enough.
And yeah, the result came.
Yeah, you must be pretty relieved finally to get back on the podium in Tier 1.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while. Last time I was here at Monaco was at Monaco, yeah. And
right.
It's probably seems to be that some circuits they seem to do well at when it's probably a bit more of a driver style circuit.
Yeah, fair enough.
And honestly, getting a podium at Japan's always lovely.
Well, out of all the racetracks to do it here at Suzuka, definitely one of the more challenging circuits to actually negotiate. But no, overall, are you pretty happy with your performance here? No major mistakes?
Well, I'm not happy about the time penalty that I got, but I had a good little battle with Spilly going through the first sector. That was nice and fun. And yeah, managing those back markers coming up through the field when they're on the alternate strategy was a bit hairy. Had to use a bit too much of my battery and
caught some of that. Gee whiz. You felt some of those battles were pretty brisk, to say the least. My goodness. But no, it's good to hear from you for such a long time. So, welcome back to the podium. Hopefully, we'll see you a few more times, though. Hopefully.
I hopefully plan on
it. But congratulations on your P3 finish here.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Mr. Crichton. Congrats on the P2. Qualifying went pretty well, minus what happened right at the end.
Yeah, quali was awesome. My second run, I was quite happy with that. I think it was a 0.15. And then that last run, such a nice lap. I think I was up like a 10.5 out of the hairpin. And then, my game decided to freeze on me, which wasn't... Yeah, it just wasn't nice. So I think I was going to be on for 27 quite comfortably there. But, still got pole, so that was the main thing. And, was quite happy with quali.
Actually, everyone who's still watching, he was that upset he decided to DM me about it.
Well, I thought you might have been watching, so I was like...
I did catch it. I saw your car completely disappear. I think it was that spoon. Like, well, this is not good.
Yeah, I was very annoyed. But,
now, your race had its moments, for sure. Especially he had a massive moment.
Oh, did you catch
at turn.
that one?
I
Yep.
did catch that. Because, as I said, I saw a lot of battles with people on alternate strategies trying to negotiate with one another. And you had a massive moment when you had, I think it was Scotty, right in front of you at turn 1. How did you catch that, first of all? I thought you were done for all money.
Yeah, I thought I was done too, and then she just came back around on me.
Back.
Yeah, lost a couple seconds there, but that was quite scary. I saw I think it was Bailey. He just managed to get Scotty. Then I was like, all right, I'll try and get Scotty into turn 2, just carry some nice corner speed. Then he braked slightly earlier than what I thought. Then I was right up him. I thought slammed the brakes. Then I hit the curb, and the car went left, then went right, then went left, then went right, and then lost a few seconds there. But managed to get away with that, and quite happy to finish P2. I think after that, I'll take that.
Well, yeah, right at the end of the race, was there anything you could do to hold Jack off?
Nah, nothing at all, and stuff. Like, heaps of us, well, yeah, like, I'm trying to think. So there was Kush who crashed out, there was Bailey, there was Matt. I thought, oh, yep, like, we should be sweet. Probably be quite hard for Jack to, I guess, navigate his way through, and then they all crashed. So yeah,
yeah, they basically
it was the perfect day to do the
door.
other strat. So, I had no battery. I think I saved up 30%, and I was like, it's nothing.
Fair enough.
Had no traction on those tyres, so I was like, yeah, I'll try my best, but straight was a tad too long for me.
We were in the party with Ford when he and...
Yeah, I was.
How was he like?
Yeah. He wasn't too happy because I think, quite sad for Bailey because I think he had that one wrapped up almost. He was a few seconds up on me. His pace was really good.
I mean, of course, Izzad was in that as well, but he had a time penalty next to the name, so it would have been very difficult to win in that sort of scenario.
Because I think they crashed last week, but I think it was Bailey who spun out in front of Kush at turn 1. Yeah, so it's happened twice now, so Bailey wasn't too happy, but I think he's happy that I guess his pace was there, so he'll take that and then move on to next week.
Always got to try and take the positives. But,
exactly.
No, congratulations on your P2 finish, and I think that does extend your lead a little bit more.
Yeah, I think Spilly was 5th or something as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how he got 5th after he crashed. Someone told me he crashed in the party. I was like, oh, okay, surely he's done. Then he's in P5.
Yeah.
I was like, he's always in the top 5, Spilly. So
he lost it.
Drive.
He lost it in the first sector. He was
first
facing
sector, yeah.
He was facing backwards, and he managed to get the car pointing the right way again. And, came home.
Billy always crashes and then somehow gets a good position.
He's really good at he's just in good form at the moment. A lot of things are going his way.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he'll be quite happy with P5, and I'm sure you're satisfied with your P2 finish as well, Kryter.
Yeah, very much so for the championship. Yep.
So congrats on your P2 finish. We'll move on to our race winner, Jax. You must feel very happy with how this race went for you. Just take us through it all, starting from P10 on the grid.
Oh yeah, that was not my plan to be P10. I knew I had pace, so I was like, oh, should be on the front row of Crichton at least, but then...
Get the track position.
Messed up my soft slap, and lucky the lobby had to restart because I was on like 7% mediums or something, so I wouldn't be able to do one stop. And then, the start was a bit sketchy. Everyone was just being cautious in the S's, or no one just had their tyres warmed up, and everyone was just going wide, and it was very sketchy for the first couple laps. And then, I think I just got back onto the back of that train for the top 6, I think, and I just kind of stayed back there, and everyone pitted, and I had pretty good pace, and I was like, I might try and extend my, just extend it a bit more to have the freshest tyres at the end. And then, I had Scotty was in my party, and he was telling me about the drama, and then he told me about Crichton spinning, and I was like, oh, okay. And Scotty was like, I tried to brake early to let Crichton pass.
Yeah, that's
what I was letting all the
others
pass. And then there was that big crash of Izzat and Ford, which was a bit interesting because I think they've collided a bit with each other this season, a lot. And I extended my stint and came on the softs, got past Spicy pretty well. And it was only Crichton up ahead, so I was like, I'll just save my tyres in ERS for the end. And I think if Ford and Izzat didn't crash into each other, would have had to push more on the softs. But just because Crichton was only like 1.5 seconds ahead, and I could gained that in the first sector of the tyres.
Yeah.
So I just played it safe and waited for the last lap.
No, I'd say at the end of the race you played it perfectly. You timed your overtake well too. Got by at turn 1 easily.
Yeah.
And, just able to pull away.
Had mates in the party saying, "Oh, don't do it in Italy," and I was like, "Don't talk about Italy."
Yeah, it's not the first time you two have come together, but no, this was a very nice little melee between you two for the lead this time around. So
it was a very boring race from my perspective, I think, but from other people's perspective, it was very chaos and it was just mayhem.
Especially when looking through the field, my goodness, there was a lot going on, but you were just out in front doing your own thing. And when you came on, I was surprised how close the gap was, to be honest, between you and those on the soft medium strategy. You did a really good job.
I think that might help with the back markers.
That too.
I saw the big trains with the back markers, especially Macedonia, I think. At the start, I was told by Scotty and stuff that he was not letting anyone pass easily. So
there was some good, there was some interesting stuff there that I saw too.
Yeah, I had to force your Macedonian a bit wide at the hairpin. I was like, I can't let him get a run here.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw all of that. But no. Like, I kind of understand from both scenarios, you have a right to fight for position, but you need to get a move on, so, and the two butted heads, so.
It's not the best track.
Yeah, that's it, with Suzuka, you sort of, if you want to battle, you sort of have to do it hard, there's no...
You got to be at the right spot to get the overtake.
If
you come up behind them in the first sector, you're kind of losing a couple of seconds there.
There was a scrap between Spilly and I think it was you, Spicy. Was it you? You were side by side through the whole first sector, pretty much.
Yeah, safe firm.
And you two, well, first of all, it was spectacular to watch, but you must have lost a whole heap of time by doing that.
Yeah, I knew that was probably my only opportunity to get past Spilly.
And just committed to it.
Just because if you're on the same strategy, it's just real hard to pass. And threw it in and just managed to hold it out, and move was pretty amazing.
It was great to watch. I enjoyed that. You two going side by side, a bit of bumping here and there, but nothing too harsh or out of the ordinary. It was really nice to watch. But no, congratulations, Jax, for this is your third win, I think, of the season. Belgium, Italy, and now here at Suzuka. 3 pretty nice tracks to get wins at.
Well, the tracks I expect to get wins at.
Yeah.
I've been here for a bloody while and I still haven't even got one.
If you just practice like you did today for this track.
Time will come.
Time will come. Yeah, that's it. It will come.
Maybe. There's no Monaco, so.
Yeah. That's the problem. If there was Monaco, I'd definitely be up there, but obviously you still got Bailey and Ford and Crichton that can bring a decent lap around Monaco.
Anything can happen though.
But no, thank you, gentlemen, again for joining me, and congratulations, Jax, taking your third win of the season. Well done.
Thank you.
But I think with everything done, we can wrap everything up. But first, so Crichton, you got second. How many points does that give you? Out of curiosity, I don't know the points.
23. Let me have a look for you.
20.
I'm on the Discord point system. I get 23 and Spilly gets 15.
15.
So I will have a 34 point gap, I think. I think it was 26 or something.
So I gained my 79 gap point.
It's kind of looking more and more like a 2-horse race, isn't it? Unfortunately, I would love to have more drivers involved.
Spilly off, he's on my tail all the time. So,
but with a 34-point gap, it means that you have a race win lead, and plus fastest laps. So you've got a bit of a buffer now. So coming into the next round,
a race.
That's it.
Skip a race.
Skip a race. Bring the championship fight back into
Please skip a race.
Yeah, I think I did that last season I missed the last couple. So I took a nice little vacation.
Race Spec champion, watch out.
But I think with the race finally over, it's time for us to end the stream. tune in throughout the week as there's still plenty of racing to take place here on Race Spec Esports, but for the Pacific Tier 1 series, we'll have to wait until next Sunday. Until then, I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you for round 10 at the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Yeah, that should be an interesting race. It's either a 50-50 at Budapest. It's either boring, or it's dramatic, chaotic, full of action, and you name it, it happens at the Hungaroring, in my experience at the racetrack anyway. So, hope to see you all there for next week, but until then, it's goodbye.